ladies, Dr. Abu Free Mambo and Madame Kwa Messi, my wife for the past close to 25 years. Uh, Welcome, sweetheart, and thank you for accepting to come uh, to join me. It's my honor to be on the same platform with you, and I'm honored by your sacrifice and commitment. We've known ourselves since the University of Boya, I think far back as 1994, and we've never separated. Thank you for your dedication. And these brave ladies and gentlemen, they drafted the Charter for Women and Children's Rights. After Toronto, a recommendation reached my desk from concerned women about certain actions on the ground that requires a specific charter for the protection of women and children. The code of conduct for our forces spells out areas for the protection of women and children. But because women and children are vulnerable within a conflict, we have designed a specific charter that protects them. The charter is extensive. Be reminded that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that came into force in 1948, the chairperson of the commission that drafted that Universal Declaration was Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of Delano Roosevelt. It has become a non-binding, emblematic, inspirational, norm-setting document that has inspired binding treaties like the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the Covenant for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, the Convention for the Protection of the Child, the Convention for the Protection of Social, Cultural, and Development Rights. Now, I will present the drafters of this charter. With me here today, you have Mercy Kwa. She is one of the drafters of the charter. You have Dr. Brenda of Germany, also one of the drafters. Dr. Abu Free, one of the drafters of the charter. You have my NSA, Grace Michaels. You have my Deputy Secretary for Foreign Affairs. You have, and the entire process was overseen by the Secretary for Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs, Comrade Akoson. Happy Father's Day to you, Comrade Akoson, and to the DSS. You also have the chairlady for the Hague of Sea, Finland. You have the Secretary for Education for the Ambazonian Governing Council and the Secretary General of the Ambazonian Governing Council. These were the fine people who worked on this charter. It was debated, it was submitted to the National Council of the Ambazonian Governing Council for a second reading and adoption. It was adoption with one simple amendment, a recommendation for the inclusion of the protection of vulnerable children within the charter. That particular amendment will be factored into the charter before it is publicized. Thank you, Mesikwa. Thank you very much. I know you have a specific area within this charter that is of interest to you. You have been someone who has shown great interest in different areas, and I will hand over the microphone to you to tell our people more about the charter, specifically on the area of interest, which I think is the area of education. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, CIC. I will take the access to education and the personal safety part of the charter. And according to this, all Ambazonian children and alien children living in Ambazonia shall have access to education under the Ambazonian curriculum of education and any acceptable compromise curriculum that will be accepted by the conflicting parties. An Ambazonian Education Board under the Department of Education shall work to establish a curriculum of education for Ambazonia's children and women during this period of the conflict. There shall be no hindrance of access to quality education provided by Ambazonia's education authorities and the safety of children in schools. Access to schools by international humanitarian rights groups and organizations shall be granted to ensure that Ambazonia's children are fully provided the best they need to acquire knowledge, ethical values, and skills. There shall be pedagogic advice, training, and material support to enhance teaching and learning by teachers and children respectively in the institutions. And it shall be provided to guarantee success. Women and children attending schools shall benefit from the fact that all Ambazonians authorized and run schools shall be protected from attack by conflicting parties. And then going to the aspect of personal safety, the safety of Ambazonian and alien women and children shall be considered sacred and treated as a high priority, and stringent measures shall be undertaken to ensure such safety. There shall be no detonation of bombs among civilians to the extent that they inflict suffering on women and children. There shall be zero tolerance of all forms of persecution, cruel and inhumane treatment of women and children. Thus, women and children shall not be subjected to wrongful imprisonment, shooting, mass arrest, collective punishment, destruction of dwellings, and forceful eviction. There shall be no use of dangerous substances that can inflict heavy losses on civilian populations, including defenseless women and children. Women and children shall take compulsory lessons on personal safety rules. And lastly, the safety of women and children shall be prioritized in times of active combat, and there shall be allowance for the evacuation of women and children to refugee settlements as well as healthcare facilities. Women and children shall have a hotline for reporting issues regarding their safety at all times. The mortal remains of women and children shall be treated with dignity and buried honorably while taking cultural and traditional specificities into consideration. Women and children shall be given priority services by Ambazonia's liberation transitional governing structures, especially in the domain of safety. These structures shall immediately report any issues concerning the safety and well-being of women and children to appropriate officials for immediate attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. That has been a great work that you people have done. Dr. Abu Free Mambo, I just watched your show with Comrade Silas. It was exhilarating, and I'm grateful that you're continuing with the interview. I would encourage more of such outings. So, you took part in the drafting of the charter, and apart from taking part in such an endeavor, you have also been engaged in some activities with children, especially in the area of education. I'm not certain, I wasn't informed prior if you have chosen any specific area within the charter to elucidate, but I'll hand over the microphone for you to talk broadly or in specific terms about any area of the charter of interest to you and our people.
Thank you so much, CIC, and I'm always happy to serve, and especially when I'm being on board with you. So it's always exciting. And Comrade Mercy, you and I think we spoke earlier today. So greetings to you. And hey, CIC, happy Father's Day. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about about sexual exploitation, because I think that is the area where I am most versed, and also if there is nobody else to talk about access to healthcare and sanitation, that is my background when it comes to my area of study. I can also dive into that as well, but I mean, we all know that, children and women are mostly exploited in, conflict afflicted zones. And of course, Ambazonia is no different from other, conflict zones. So what we came up in the charter is, it's actually Article 5, which is, talks more on sexual exploitation. So Article 5, subsection 1 explains that women and children shall be protected from sexual exploitation and sexual violence. Secondly, women and children shall have continuous education and sensitization campaigns aimed at discouraging all forms of sexual violence against women and children. Number 3, women and children shall not be subjected to strip searches by security and safety officials in public. However, for security and safety purposes, such searches shall be conducted by female officers of special security officers, paying respect to the dignity of the woman concerned. In case of such a search, the person in question shall be searched will be informed and duly ascertained as to the reason of such a search. Number 4, women and children shall not be paraded naked in public as punishment. Number 5, women shall be allowed to freely make their sexual choices as to who they intend to date or marry, and on no occasion shall a woman be forced into marriage or to date a man without her consent. Number 6, women and children who are victims of survivors of sexual exploitation shall be provided free counseling services, medical assistance, and psychosocial support to lessen the harm and allow for psychological healing. So that is what we have for sexual exploitation. Now, on to Article 6, which is access to health care and sanitation. Number 1, women and children. So women and children's rights, quality health care and sanitation services shall be upheld by all parties to the conflict. Number 2, women and children shall be guaranteed and allowed the right to flow. Women and children shall be guaranteed and allowed the right to flow of adequate food, shelter, medical aid, clothing by all the warring parties. Number 3, women and children who cannot afford basic medical care and attention shall be supported as much as possible by the Ambazonian fighters. Number 4, women and children will benefit from the fact that all medical facilities and establishments, including ambulances, hospitals, clinics, community health centers, shall be protected by all parties to the conflict, and on no occasion shall such facilities be used for active combat. Number 5, women and children will have access to humanitarian workers who shall be permitted, granted authorization, and encouraged to act independently to assist the vulnerable women and children. In this light, mobile community clinics named by healthcare professionals who move from place to place to administer health services shall not be harassed. Number 8, all women and children are entitled to proper documentation, enumeration and provision of birth certificates, identification papers, and marriage and death certificates where and when need be. So these are all the articles that were done for access to healthcare and sanitation, as well as sexual exploitation. Thank you, CIC.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Free. Thanks, Madam Kwa. If you people have anything to say, just have the mic again, and I'll make the concluding remarks.
Comrade Mercy, do you want to go first if you have something to say?
Oh, well, yeah, I just want to say it's a great day. It's a great day for Ambazonia. It's a great day for our country. It's a great day for women and the girl child. To see the AGOVC take such a role, this really shows a lot of responsibility, and I am just so proud to be part of this charter, and just to ensure that our people are being well taken care of, and we are actually following the rules, as opposed to the regime, the corrupt regime that we are trying to be rid of. I'm just so happy to be part of this, of what's going on right now as a woman.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Comrade Mercy. Me too. I am actually excited. As you all know, I run an organization called African Girls with the purpose to empower, young girls, not just in Ambazonia, but all across Africa. So, and I just actually came from talking with one of my workers in Ambazonia, who was telling me about some refugee young ladies who are actually desperately in need for housing. And so when I see things like this that the AGOVC is doing, it actually gives me purpose, right? I know that we every day we get up and figure out ways that we can, support our people on ground zero. And this initiative that has been taken by the AGOVC actually gives me a reason to continue doing what I am doing, because I know that we are doing our best to protect our women and children, and also bring them the necessary, support that they need. So kudos to the AGOVC. I am a proud I'm a proud member of this wonderful organization, and I will definitely continue to support in my own way that I can. Thank you so much, CIC, for your great leadership and vision.
Thank you, brave ladies. I am honored to be on this platform with both of you, for your work, dedication, and your commitment. At a time when the structures of society have not given women a chance, but our war of liberation gives you one opportunity to reshape the society according to your own perspective. I will encourage Ambazonian women to join you people, to join the Ambazonian Governing Council, to make sure the norms that will be set in our society is a reflection, of the fact that women are 51% of the population, and that the children have gone through a lot of suffering during this conflict, and we must begin right away. We cannot postpone protection of women and children until we are completely free, because the kind of Ambazonia we intend to set, we must begin with ideas and practices at this particular moment as a reflection of that vision. So thank you people for the hard work, and on behalf of all the great ladies and gentlemen who took part in the drafting of this charter, I send my best wishes to them, and thank to the Secretary of Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs, Comrade Akosong, for overseeing this process. All right, fellow Ambazonians, thank you very much for bearing my almost 1 hour of discussion. Your country is real. The enemy is a beast. It must be thrown out as far as possible, and a buffer zone created to make sure that Cameroon never again has the opportunity to inflict pain on us. And this is going to be a long struggle. As I said, we must be ready, we must dig in our heels to ensure that we can finally prevail and establish our own country. We will have our schisms, our quarrels, but it's our quarrel. Let's quarrel as Ambazonians. For all of those traitors who take pride in treachery, you will go down in history as the worst breed of people who ever stepped foot in our land. And I hear the governor of the colonial governor is asking people to use foreign number plate. I dare the colonial governor and all his administrators to use the CA number plate. They cannot throw away the CA for fear of being arrested, and they want to force you to using a foreign number plate. We will continue with our bilateral discussions with other movements. We will continue consultations on issues of harmonizing our defense strategies. We will continue on the issue of discussing about the forthcoming school year. We've made it absolutely clear that independence means independence. There will be no foreign school without the permission of Ambazonian authority. There will be no wearing of any La Republique paraphernalia, no flag of La Republique, no anthem across the territory of Ambazonia. I don't think Sweden can cross into the United Kingdom and just build a school illegally and begin instituting a Swedish curriculum. The caterpillars will move there immediately and dig that school from the foundation. We will not tolerate any school overseen by Cameroon. I know it's going to be a difficult transition. People have always asked about certification. All the certificates we got from Cameroon are useless. They have no use. Acquire knowledge. We are going to make up catch-up programs for those who have lost years. But we can assure every Ambazonian that you will get the best education. You will be equipped with the knowledge to be able to meet up with the economic challenges and opportunities of your time. All the certificate, first school living certificate had no use. O-level had no use. A-level had no use. You studied chemistry, you ended up in Europe doing something else. You did mathematics, you ended up as a bricklayer. Those things are useless, and we must put them in the dustbin of history and be brave enough to sacrifice to establish something that we can take pride in. Thank you very much. And to our brave soldiers, we will continue to arm you. I ask our people to commit to the arming of our citizens. Ambazonia's existence is threatened, and the world must come to our support in balancing the might of Cameroon. Next week, I will be leading resource mobilization for our forces. I call upon all of you to provide me with your support, your trust. I'll be knocking on doors. I'll be on street corners, ensuring that you can commit so we can support our forces. God bless Ambazonia. God protect all of you and give you the tenacity, the wisdom, and the courage never to blink in the face of the anarchy imposed over our land. God bless you all, and good night.
Stay tuned on ACN TV. We will be right back.